From a governance perspective, we generally see register providers have a couple of key documents that frame the operation of the governance system within an organisation. The first one generally is more of a legal requirement. So for companies, you'll have a constitution. Corporate associations, you might have something similar, terms of reference, and the like. And these documents generally sit as a very formal foundational document that will meet legal requirements in relation to the purpose and objectives of the company, the structure of it in terms of whether it's dealing with capital and the like, the winding up of it, etc. Perhaps where we see more of the work that is done from a governance perspective will be found in what might be known as the charter, board charter, committee of management charter. And the charter is the governance document that really does more of the work in setting out the processes and the procedures of the governing body within an organisation. Now, obviously, within organisations below that, you'll have corporate governance systems, clinical governance systems, and perhaps other financial and prudential governance systems that will deal with specific areas. But from an overall governance perspective, the board charter is the one that will breathe life into the operation of the governing body and its relationship with its stakeholders and the executive leadership team and care recipients. So what does a board charter do? Well, there are a number of things that a board charter might do, and these include assisting directors to understand their individual and collective obligations. It might set out what sorts of policies and obligations need to be in place. Actually, it'll set out what the policies are that need to be in place and the obligations that flow within that. The board charter will codify good corporate governance conventions and practices within your organisation. They will also set out policies and procedures that enable the board to operate effectively and efficiently in governing the company. It'll also set out the particular subcommittees, advisory bodies, and other similar bodies that might be set up that assist the board or the committee of management in discharging their functions. It'll contextualise key policies, procedures, and governing documents. And importantly, it'll also set out procedures to be followed by the board, as well as the subcommittees and others. You'd also typically expect the charter to set out things such as how it would manage conflicts of interest, how you manage risk, how you manage indemnity and insurance obligations, delegations, and the like. So there's quite a bit that would go into a governing body charter. And in the aged care space, we would also expect that the charter will deal with and certainly outline some of those key responsibilities that will sit with a governing body, as well as responsible persons on it. So you might expect the charter to also include some reference to things like suitability matters, the aged care code of conduct, the statutory duties, reporting obligations, and the like. So you can see that these documents will play a very important role in demonstrating to the Commission, care recipients and stakeholders that there's a properly functioning governance system, but really importantly that in fact the governance structures operate to achieve your objectives and purposes more effectively.